Welcome to this channel of Handlix TV. Today we would like to give you the video about the content of Africa, whereby we will be talking about certain issues that are happening in Africa. I believe you are going to enjoy watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would like to ask you to subscribe to this channel so that you can be having a lot of videos coming from this channel. So let's begin our video.
Inadequate infrastructure can hold a country back. In how the lack of investment in our roads, in our rail and ports have hampered the growth of industries such as mining, agriculture and manufacturing, and has also hampered the basic services that need to be delivered to our people.
Many people in Africa are passing through difficulties, and you are wondering why these things are happening the way they are happening in Africa, seeing that there are more people that are in poverty. Our leaders in Africa, it is like they are not concerned about the problems that the people are passing through in the continent. We can do better in Africa to change the situation of many lives which are suffering because of lack of good governments, and also because of the needs that these people are having, but they are not being met. Politically, Africa is a divided continent, because there are more problems in Africa which are happening due to the type of politics that we are doing in Africa, which is just about dividing one another. Yet we are one people. We need to come together in order to resolve our problems so that we can build this continent to become one of the blessed continents in the world. Many situations in Africa are not changing. We're looking at the people that are suffering. They don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have basic needs that they are looking for. Education is poor, and it's like things are going to remain the same forever. But we have leaders who speak very well, and when you're looking at them, you can think like Africa has got the best quality leaders, but it is like different of action from what these people are. We need to come together in Africa and begin to do things like one people so that we can have the continent whereby life cannot be any problem in this African continent. So the best things that we can be doing in Africa is to come together so that we begin to do things like one people, unlike the way it is right now, whereby we are divided. We are no longer working together, and the problems that we are having are now being faced by individual nations which have not even capacity to solve them. When you are hearing about the leaders, they promise a lot of things, talking about it, let's come together, Africa as one, so that we can be doing trade as one people. Even they have been promising us about the one passport in Africa. But now on the ground, we are seeing nothing that is materializing out of all these promises that African leaders have been making to the continent. I'm so sad myself knowing that it is taking more years for Africa to come together and begin to do things like one people who understand one another. Is this a problem which is being created by somebody else who doesn't want Africa to come together? If that is so, then we can Africa come up with our own ways how we can come together without telling somebody else. If it's all about keeping secrets for Africa to be united so that nobody should come and make this piece of Africa of coming together to be disturbed by certain people who have got interest in the continent of Africa, then African people, we can be smart enough to begin to get united without following those international protocols of union. I believe that if we begin to know what we can do together, looking at each other as African people, we are more united on the skin than we are united on the paper. Because sometimes we do not come together because of geographical positions which African countries have, and these positions that are making the continent of Africa to be apart from one another. And you can agree with me that all these geographical positions that have been given to Africa by people who once came to Africa to lure us by colonizing us. So we can make these boundaries to become the story of the past if we come together and begin to do one thing as African people. It is so difficult to understand why the situation in Africa is currently the way it is, whereby we are seeing each other not united, but we are more divided and we are fighting one another. We are denying each other access to different things. And this is creating a problem between African people, because it's like we are looking at each other as enemies instead of us coming together as one people. You should know that if we don't come together and begin to do things like one people, the continent of Africa will no longer be united, and development, which we have been desiring in the continent, will never come because we are not working together. Instead of building it, we are destroying. I believe that the time has come for the continent of Africa to be united so that we can develop together and we can end our poverty, and life in Africa can become a good life so that African people can enjoy their resources and their continent by living with one another. Traveling in Africa should not be a problem anymore. It is very difficult for you to travel in Africa from one country to another because things are very expensive. It's like you are paying for a trip to go to the United States of America, yet you are traveling within the continent. We can destroy all these problems and make Africa to be a continent whereby we can traverse within the continent without problems. It is possible we can achieve that goal. It's just a matter of us coming together and knowing that we can come as one people and build Africa as one people, and we can develop together because we are already one. But it's only the problem that we do think like we're still in the colonial time, whereby we were divided by people who ruled us, who even gave names to our names that we are known with. Today in Africa, we have got names which are not ours. And this is because they conquered, they lured us, they colonized us, and they gave us their names out of fear. We accepted that. But now we can say we want to build the continent we want to develop the Africa we want. It is possible we can achieve that. This is the time now Africa should be speaking one language. And already we are speaking English and French in Africa, but we can communicate with one another. I've seen people in Europe, they don't speak English, but they go to different countries in Europe where they're speaking English. And those people who go there, they're able even to do things and prosper in those particular countries. It's not about the language we speak that can create a barrier for us to communicate with one another and develop. You already know that there are people who are able to speak English and can speak French, can speak both Italian language, and they can translate and interpret our languages so that we should be able to understand one another. If I don't know Swahili, there is somebody who is close to me who knows Swahili better. Therefore, if somebody is speaking Swahili, we can get interpretation of that thing, and so that we can communicate and do business in Africa freely. Of course, this can take time, but we must start now, because we may say like, no, we cannot come together and begin to do things like incorporate the people who are living together, who are doing things without boundaries, because there is a problem of language in their country, but they're in the continent. But I'm saying that aside, we can still come together and do things like one people and develop the continent irrespective of the barriers of languages, which is also a very important thing for us to integrate and live together in this continent. I know Africa will develop, and the time is coming whereby Africa must develop. I'll come back with another video. Before I go, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel, like my video, and do not forget to click the notification button. At the same time, I would like as well to ask you to watch my videos for longer periods so that I can be able to achieve 4,000 watch hours on this channel. Until I come back with another video, thank you for watching this video. Have a very good day. Bye-bye.